last week I talked about this 12-year-old boy from Georgia, but I had my notes kind of confused there, so I want to clarify a few things just so we can be clear about what happened to this 12-year-old baby because they haven't found him yet. And last week I didn't give out the correct information. I gave out the information, but there's just more I want to say about it, right? So the 12-year-old boy, let me see here. So police are still searching for the person or persons responsible for the killing of a 12-year-old Atlanta boy who was found dead last Wednesday. Now, a $5,000 reward has been offered by Crime Stoppers for any information leading to the arrest in the case of David Mack, whose body was found behind a home in southeast Atlanta, and he was basically fatally shot, y'all, right? So the EMS say when they arrived, he wasn't alert, not conscious or breathing, and was confirmed deceased by Grady EMS, right? The middle school student was reported missing February 9th at about 10:43 p.m. by his grandmother Glenda. She told the police he hadn't returned home since she last talked to him. She said they basically told each other that they loved each other, and she never heard from the young man again, right? Now, Glenda said David had planned to go to a friend's house to play football, but didn't go and told that friend that he was going somewhere else. Now, a weird part of this story, because at this point, we don't know what happened to the baby. Like always, once they say who killed him or what happened to him, I'll make sure to come back and report that to you guys. But they haven't mentioned what actually happened to the little boy. But something that we should take note of when he was going to play at his friend's house and he told his friend he was going somewhere else, right? His friend allegedly asked if he could come along. And a fishy part about this is he said all he saw was David's face, but he heard somebody else say no, right? So it was almost if he was with somebody who was telling him to refuse the friend to come with him, right? So, everybody pray for this family, man. Hopefully they can get some kind of closure. I just wanted to come to you guys and bring more clarity on what actually happened with the young brother. There isn't much to the story yet because they haven't found who killed him. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's sometimes when you see things like this, it looks like it could be like somebody close to him. You know what I mean? And a couple weeks ago, I reported on a few different kind of stories, right? So we reported on a story of a black man killing a 2-year-old baby, which is some horrible shit to actually think about. And then we had a white family who, a 13-year-old boy came up missing and he ended up dead. And this white family, the white mother is under she's been arrested and she's possibly going to be considered the person who had something to do with this, right? So when things like this happens to our baby, the point I'm making, we don't know who did the shit. Like we live in a society where a lot of times we think of race when things like this happen. You in the South, you a black person in the South, you end up dead. We always thinking these nefarious things that could happen, but unfortunately, we got a lot of foul shit going on in our community too. So this could have been a family member. This could have been somebody that he knew. You see what I'm saying? This man, it could have been some grimy shit like that. But the bottom line is, all of us need to do a better job of protecting our babies because I'm not sure if he lived with his grandmother, but at the time that this happened, he was with his grandmother. The grandmother mentioned the time of night that he was actually outside, and this is a 12-year-old boy. So of course I'm not blaming this fatality on his family at all, but at the end of the day, we need to do a better job of knowing where our kids are, like when they're supposed to be there, utilizing these phones that they have. If you do have a kid, try to get him an iPhone so you can do the Find My iPhone thing. You know what I mean? These are measures we can take to protect our babies because you want to allow your kids to go outside and play and have fun, but you got to be aware of where we are today in society. You know what I mean? And to me, shit happens everywhere, but especially in the South. So we need to be aware of where our babies are, just to try to prevent things like this from happening. So hopefully this family gets some closure with this 12-year-old boy. Like I said, you guys pray for this family, man. And also, anybody with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 404-577-TIPS. 404-577-TIPS. And keep in mind, because we are black and we live in a community where certain things are prevalent, it is not snitching if you know who killed a 12-year-old boy. And it is not snitching to call the goddamn police. We need to be clear in our community what snitching is. We popularize certain things and we just add that as like a blanket statement to everything going on. But no, Snitching in our community is specific. You and someone else do a crime together. You and someone else agree to do something nefarious in society. One of you get caught, the other one tells on the other one. Simple as that. Those are the only snitching rules that I'm aware of here in our society, especially in our community. You know what I mean? So if you know who killed a 12-year-old boy, if you seen something going on with a 12-year-old boy, that ain't no shit when you say that's not my business, right? We need to be clear and be contextual on what we should be involving ourselves in. In our community, it's all of our job to protect our kids. It takes a village, right? So if it takes a village, if you found out something nefarious happened to a 12-year-old, it's on you to report it to the authority. It's okay to call the police, family. It's certain things where we kind of feel a little more reluctant to call the cops, and that's rightfully so because of how they treat us. But your baby end up dead, or you know about someone who killed a baby or harmed a baby, you gotta tell somebody if you're not finna take that shit into your own hands.